Hey guys, welcome back to Outsourcing Angel. It's Lynn Pedetti here, helping you to scale your business with Virtual Angels. Now in today's video, I'm going to help you to learn how to pay virtual assistants from the Philippines. Now do make sure that you do watch till the end because I share vital tips along the way. Now, first of all, for those who don't know me, I run a company called Outsourcing Angel, which is a virtual assistants recruitment agency. So we recruit virtual assistants for business owners around the world. And so because of that, we have over 70 virtual assistants that we pay on a regular basis. And so this is where I'm going to share with you how we do it and how you can pay them securely through an online facility. Okay, when it comes to hiring virtual assistants and knowing how to pay them, it starts with first, what is your working arrangement? Are you working with them project-based or you're working with them on an ongoing basis? So if it's project-based, obviously you should try to pay them every time you finish a project. Some of them may even ask for you to just pay a small deposit and then pay another installment as a next step after they've completed the job. But when it comes to hiring ongoing assistant, then you would also then decide whether you're going to be paying them on a weekly basis, fortnightly, or monthly. Now, I find that monthly is a little bit long because people kind of tend to, don't know how to save, and a month comes by and they're like, can't wait till their payday. And weekly can be quite admin intensive for you. So if you're going to process payment every single week for your assistants, then it just might take extra time. So the sweet spot for us is paying fortnightly for our ongoing virtual assistants. So first of the month and the 15th of the month, we process the payments in batches so that it's all, just all done in one go rather than paying here and there. I really think that it's important to have a process so that you're not just, whenever an invoice comes in, you're paying, but really you should have a payment date. So even if it's project-based and you like to let the people know, the assistants know that for every time you finish a project, no matter where it is in the cycle, I'm going to be paying you at this particular time. Or if you work with someone ongoing, you always let them know that it's going to be on the 1st and the 15th of the month. So it's all about setting expectations so that they look forward to it. They know that if they do a good job, then you're going to pay them on time. Rather than if you don't have a process, you're going to create more admin for yourself. You're going to react to whenever someone's sending you a request for payment. And the other people who you're working with, the virtual assistants, will also kind of feel like walking on eggshells, not sure when they're going to get paid, if they're going to get paid. Now, next question you may ask is, do you pay in Filipino dollars or in Australian or in America? So for us, we like to negotiate and give the price based on our current local currency. So where I live is Australia. So when we negotiate with our VAs, we always negotiate in our own currency. And so when we also pay, we pay in our own currency. So this is a great way for us to just know exactly what we're paying, because sometimes if we pay in Philippines, we just don't know what the conversion is. So it's just an easier process for us. When I'm paying $1,000, I know what 1,000 feels like or looks like. When you are mentioning, 25,000 pesos, I'm like, what is that? I can't really quantify. And so I guess as a business owner, we just make it simple for ourselves to just negotiate in our own currency. So if you're from America, then maybe you just discuss and negotiate in your American dollars and then pay in American dollars. And whatever the conversion is at the time, the payment facility will convert to their currency. Okay, so who pays for bank fees? So when you work with virtual assistants, you may find that they will ask you, if you don't talk about the bank fees, that it's going to be a surprise. So you might negotiate their salary, but then on payday, there's going to be a bank fee. So when you're using PayPal or you're using some sort of payment facility, they might take a bank fee from the VA. The VA will then feel like, I thought I'm earning this and now it's actually minus the bank fee. And so I would recommend to always talk about it in advance. So whatever you negotiate, you tell them in advance that, it's going to be whatever, $1,000 plus your bank fee, which is another $100 or $50. And so your final, what I'm offering you is $1,050 or whatever it is, right? So it's like you have to specify that what I'm paying you is a salary plus there's bank fee in it. So don't get surprised when the bank fee gets deducted when we're using facilities like PayPal. Now, the next question you may wonder is, how do I know when I should pay them? Are they doing the right job? Are they doing the right work? When should I pay? So of course, it comes down to really understanding your performance. So when you work with sites like Upwork and I can't remember other places, but they also have their time tracking facility. So you can always track back and see whether that person has done the job. Now, you could also install things like Time Doctor and other tracking facilities with your virtual assistant to really make sure that they are doing the work that they are doing so that you can release the money. But for us at Outsourcing Angel, we always believe in trust and freedom. And so we don't want to have the VAs to have to feel like, there is something spying on them, is tracking them. We really work on the basis of performance, of productivity, of output. So as a business owner, if you have a list of tasks or KPIs or outcomes or projects that you need to deliver, and your virtual assistant understands it and always communicate, always let you know when things are taking longer than expected, or giving you ideas and innovation and just always doing good, then there's no need to really tracking the time. Because if they could provide the output in less time, then that's the whole purpose. As long as you're getting the output, because you don't want someone working long hours, but still the output is very small. It's really about how do they solve problems for you? How do they produce outputs for you and be productive and based on their performance, they're doing really well versus just time tracking. Now, if you can work on that basis, then your virtual assistant is going to really appreciate, going to feel really, peaceful and relaxing at work. So they're motivated, but they feel like no one's watching over their shoulder. And of course, when you're working new with a virtual assistant, they're always going to take longer, or they're not going to be doing it accurately as you want it straight away. But of course, like hiring anything, it takes time to train, to really explain, to give them feedback, to set expectations, and eventually they'll be faster. So tracking time alone at the beginning is not really ideal. It's really about progress. It's like, this person with that experience, I've taught them once, yep, they've got 90% correct, they're still that 10%, and they're a bit slower than me right now. But the next time they do it, they're going to get more accuracy and they're going to do it faster, and they should improve over time. If they're not improving and they're going backwards, then you have a problem. But other than that, if they're progressing, then this is where you should continue to train and nurture them, because the longer you keep your virtual assistant is where you reap the rewards, because they become, that right-hand woman or man for you. They kind of know what your business is all about. They can even think for you, come up with ideas for innovations, and they know, what your company culture is like. But if you're just jumping around for the fast VAs, like, which VA can do it the cheapest, the fastest, and then just, if they don't and you let them go and then you jump to the next, then you're never really going to build a stable, profitable business, because you don't have anyone to count on. So I would recommend you to really see hiring VAs as a long-term thing. Even if you're starting to work with people on a project base at the beginning, still look towards a long-term view. So start on project base, but then knowing that as you scale your business, you will offer them to hire them, on a part-time basis and eventually full-time, because that is when you can really build a team that is dedicated to you so that you can focus on growing your business. Furthermore, on time tracking or tracking so that you know what to pay, you can use apps such as Jibbble. So there's an app that we use at our company that integrates with Slack, and this allows us to just track the hours that they're doing so that we could compensate them. And so this is great for, especially if you're a marketing agency and you kind of quote on the hours it takes to do something, and you want to make sure that your cost is under control, that you may quote it 10 hours, but this might take longer than that, and you want to make sure that you can estimate better next time, then you do need some sort of tracking. But like I've emphasized, it's not about tracking to see if you're really working, but it's really tracking how long something takes so that you could quote correctly and pay correctly. And so yeah, you can use something like Jibbble so that you could track. But of course, like I mentioned, if you use companies like Upwork and FreeUp, and I think, or whatever other outsourcing recruitment places out there, they actually offer their own time tracking so that you know exactly what to pay. Now, if you enjoyed the training so far, I actually have a free training right now. Go to outsourcingangel.com/free training for access to my free training on how you can outsource to a virtual assistant. The next thing I want to talk about is what are the payment facilities that you can use to pay. So as mentioned earlier, if you use places like Upwork or Fiverr, they all have their own payment facility. So you just process the payment through there, and they kind of act as an escrow, I think that's the word, and they keep your money and they release the money when you approve the work. But for us, we work directly with our VAs. So the two companies that we use is PayPal and TransferWise. So the reason why we use two is that we started off with PayPal, but the interest is a little bit higher. And so we move people to TransferWise. But some countries don't have TransferWise, or some VAs just didn't want to transfer to TransferWise. So we just kept the two systems happening. And so what we do every single month, twice a month, is that our HR manager would make sure that the hours are accounted for that VA, making sure that our clients approve those hours, that there's no extra overtime or less work that they didn't do. And then once we agree on that time and the cost, then the VA sends us an invoice so that we would process it directly from PayPal or TransferWise. And so it usually takes a few days to actually get to their bank. But other than that, it's really about a click of the button. It's really about having a process for you to, let your VA know what they need to invoice. And as they invoice, you then process them using facilities like PayPal and TransferWise. Now, some tips that I like to share in terms of, for example, pay rises is that at the end of the day, virtual assistants are like your staff, like your local staff. So in order to retain them and to keep them wanting to work with you, is you also need to incentivize them and give them pay rises once in a while. So whether it's 6 months or 12 months, you look at the work that they do, you may decide to give 5% increase, or depending on what your business is like, you might not be able to afford a pay increase, but then why not a bonus? Why not a $100 bonus here and there, or $50 bonus? Because 50 or 100 is, goes a long way for them. It might not be a lot for us, but that's almost like, a lot for them. So I would always encourage to always think about how to reward your virtual assistant and not just treat them as a cheap resource that you just access and they're lucky to even have a job. But it's really about being grateful for them and showing them that they're growing and challenging them. Because imagine if you just work in your job and you never know when you're going to get a pay rise, and no matter how hard you work, there just never seem to be anything better, then you're going to start to lose motivation. The mental health isn't going to go well. You're just going to feel more depressed, and especially if there's life challenges and family that needs you as well, then you're not going to be motivated at work. And that's what's happened with virtual assistants too. They have a family to feed, not just for themselves, but even sometimes their extended family. So if you can help them in any way by showing that you care, by rewarding them with bonuses or a pay rise, and they're going to be loyal and stay with you for a long time. And finally, I'm going to leave with you one of the most important but very simple thing to do, and sometimes clients don't do, is paying virtual assistants on time. So can you imagine a virtual assistant working so hard and excited to get paid, and then you don't pay them on time? This really just demoralize them, going to make them feel like anxious, not really sure if they should trust you, if your business is stable, and they're going to start looking elsewhere. They're going to start to look for, another job opportunity. So it's really important to, keep your end of the bargain. So if you want great work from your virtual assistant, then do your best to always pay on time. I go as far as, if a virtual assistant in the past forgot to invoice me, I actually even remind him. I'm like, hey, you didn't invoice me this month. And then they really appreciate it. They're like, oh my God, you don't take advantage of me. You care about paying me, because you even feel guilty that I've given you my hard work and you haven't paid me. And so that is how you build trust. So it's not just about them proving their trust with you, but you need to prove that you can be trusted as well. And that is how you can bring the best from them. They're going to work hard. They're going to look out for you. They're going to stay loyal. They're not going to be, jumping on a different ship just because there were a little challenge or someone else poached them, but because they remember all those times that you were genuine with them. So paying on time almost sounds so simple, yet I think sometimes business can forget and just think it's okay to delay a day or two or a week. And so I've seen, bad situations where virtual assistants don't even get paid. They work hard and then they don't get paid, so they get burnt. And this is why a lot of them end up coming to our company, because they just want that security, safety, that we just deal all the payments for them. Now that's it for today, guys. If you want more training from me, there is that free training like I mentioned over here. I'd love to invite you over there, but of course, love to hear from you. If you have any other questions about payment at all, put in the comments below so I could answer them. But of course, there's a lot more in the training that you can check out. Now, thank you so much for watching. And if you like more videos about outsourcing or VAs, then check out my video here.